Okay. Guys, screen is visible. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You see the first problem, the most important problem based upon the Clausius theorem. Okay, in this class, I'm going to discuss both second law of thermodynamics and entropy. Once you understand second law of thermodynamics, then only you can understand the entropy concept. Okay, so whatever the problem, first one is, no, it is the most important problem. Every time they used to ask such kind of problem. Okay, only they'll change the values. Okay, a heat engine is supplied with 300 kilojoules per second of heat at 290 degrees Celsius, and heat rejection takes place at 88.5 degrees Celsius. The results are as follows. 215 kilojoule per second of heat is ejected in first case. 150 kilojoule per second of heat is ejected in second case. 75 kilojoule per second of heat is ejected in the third case. Specify that the above data represents a reversible, irreversible, and impossible results. Okay, all of you have to study. You studied Clausius inequality. Can you anyone highlight what is Clausius inequality? Anybody? Okay, we are having a three criteria for a Clausius inequality. One is a reversible case, another one is irreversible case, and third one is impossible case. Anyone? Can you tell me how we are going to get the criteria?
So cyclic integration of dq by t is equal to 0 is for reversible process.
Good.
Cyclic integration of dq by t is less than equal to 0 is for irreversible process.
Good.
That process generally does not exist. And cyclic integration of dq by t is equal to 0 is for every Carnot cycle.
Correct. Okay. So there are three cases. That's why I said I told that Clausius inequality 2 times in the class. That's why. So once you understand the Clausius inequality, easily you can solve the problem. Okay. Remember, I'll repeat once again. Clausius theorem is cyclic integral of dq by t equals to 0 for reversible cycle. Cyclic integral of dq by t is less than 0 for irreversible cycle. If cyclic integral of dq by t is greater than 0, in that case, the cycle is not possible at all. You remember, whenever you get the value of cyclic integral of dq by t is greater than 0, the cycle is not possible at all. That's why these three important things you have to keep in mind. The same thing we are going to put it in the problem. Okay. You see, a heat engine is supplied with a heat supplied is 300 kilojoule per second of heat, and T1 is 290 degrees Celsius. And in this problem, you remember you have to convert degrees Celsius into Kelvin by adding 273 to the given value. Okay, and heat rejection takes place at 8.5. Once again, you have to add 8.5 plus 273. That means you'll get 281.5 Kelvin. Okay, and the heat rejection is differs in three cases. Okay, our aim is to find out whether cycle is possible or not, whether it is a reversible cycle or it is an irreversible cycle or it is an impossible cycle. So such kind of problem they'll ask for 8 marks. Okay, and according to Clausius inequality, cyclic integral of dq by t is nothing but qs divided by ts, means heat supplied minus of heat rejected. Okay, minus means, why it is minus means it is the heat rejection is indicated by minus sign. Okay, don't take plus sign here because we know the sign convention that heat addition is positive and heat rejection is negative. So first you write the Clausius inequality formula. Cyclic integral of dq by t is qs by ts minus of qr divided by tr. Okay, just you are going to substitute the value. Okay, cyclic integral of dq by t in the first case is anyhow this heat addition is not changing. You take 300 kilojoule per second. That is the first case, divided by T1 is 290 plus 273, nothing but 560. Minus of QR. You see, QR in the first case is 215. You have to substitute the value of QR as 215 divided by TR. TR is 8.5 degrees Celsius. Means after adding 273, you get 281.5. So after substituting the values, you get minus 0.2309. Okay, so you can do in the calculator, you get the value of this equation is minus 0.2309. Okay, it is less than 0. According to the Clausius inequality, if it is less than 0, the cycle is possible and irreversible in nature. So you have to mention this it as the cycle is possible and irreversible in nature. Okay. Second case, the QR and T uh, QS and TS is same, only the QR is changing. In the second case, instead of 215, you have to take 150 kilojoules per second. Kilojoules per second is nothing but kilowatt. Second case, cyclic integral of dq by t is 300 divided by 560. There is no change in this value. Only you have to change the value of QR. In the second case, QR is 150 and divided by 281.5. Means after adding 273 to 8.5, you get this one. And after substitution, you get the value as exactly 0. So whenever the value is 0, cyclic integral of dq by t is 0, means it is a reversible cycle in nature. Okay. And this is the second case. And third case, you see, 75 kilojoule per second of the heat is rejected. Okay. Don't change QS and TS. You have to change only QR. Anyhow, TR is also same. In this equation, you are going to change only QR, not QS. Means QS is fixed. So third case is cyclic integral of dq by t equals to 300 divided by 563 minus. Instead of 150, you have to take 75. 75 divided by 281.5. You see, we are getting the value as 0.2664. It is greater than 0. Whenever cyclic integral of dq by t is greater than 0, in that case, cycle is not possible at all. The cycle does not exist. According to the Clausius inequality, cyclic integral of dq by t is always less than or equals to 0. In first case, we are getting less than 0. In the second case, we are getting 0. And in the third case, we are getting greater than 0. Like that, you have to just substitute the value, get the answer, and then you have to mention this reason is most important. Specification is most important. Specify which of the above data represents reversible, irreversible, or impossible result. So first case indicates irreversible cycle, second case indicates reversible cycle, and third case represents the impossible case at all. Okay, so this is the most important problem. So in the exam, they may change the values. Just you put the value and you have to substitute the value. Okay. The second problem you see. You see, first I'll read the statement. A reversible engine extracts 75 kilowatt of energy from a reservoir at 750 Kelvin and produces 15 kilowatt of work. The engine rejects the heat to two sinks. One is at 650 Kelvin and another one is at 580 Kelvin respectively. Determine the quantity of heat rejected to each sink. Okay. So whenever they are giving the statement like this, better you have to draw the line diagram. Okay, this is a line diagram. Source at 750 Kelvin. So heat engine is operating between source and sink. If any one of the thermal reservoir is not there, then what is this one? Can you tell me here? In order to operate the heat engine, we need to have two thermal reservoir. One is source and one is sink. If anyone is not there, what is, you tell me what it indicates? What is the indication? Suppose only one source is there, if sink is not there, what is the indication? Means it violates the Kelvin-Planck statement. Okay, so we should have the two reservoirs. Okay. If anyone is not there, it violates Kelvin-Planck statement of second law of thermodynamics. In that case, what we get exactly 100% efficiency. No heat engine produces 100% efficiency. Hence, so everything we should have minimum two reservoirs. And one more thing. So we are having only one source, and meantime we may have more than one sink also. You remember that. So it's not only one sink. We should have more than one sink also. Okay, it may be two, it may be three, or it may be four, like that. Okay, in this problem they are given only one source and two sink. Okay, one source at 750 Kelvin produces the work output of 15 kilowatt. So extracting the heat at the rate of 75 kilowatt means 75 kilojoules per second, and it rejects the heat to two sinks. One is at 650 Kelvin and another one is at 580 Kelvin. Our aim is to find out what is the amount of the heat rejected to sink A and sink B. Better you call it as A and you call it as B. Our aim is to find out QA and QB. In such cases, whenever the problem is like this, you have to draw the line diagram. Okay. Next solution. Okay. You see the diagram like that. You have to draw two diagrams. So QA is heat rejected to sink A and QB is heat rejected to the sink B. Okay. Now, according to our equation, what is the net work done? Net work done is heat supplied minus of heat rejected. Same thing we are writing here. Okay. Heat supplied is represented by Q1 minus heat rejected to two sinks. Okay. QA plus QB. Okay. So net work done in a heat engine is given by heat supplied minus of heat rejected. That is Q1 minus of QA plus QB. Then you simplify. You remember, so till now we studied only one sink, but in this problem we are having two sinks. It is a net work done is given by Q1, that is heat supplied minus of heat rejected to two sinks. Heat rejected two sinks is nothing but QA plus QB. Now you simplify Q1 minus of QA minus of QB. Now, in this problem, they are given net work done is given by 15 kilowatts. Just to substitute the value of 15 and Q1, that is the heat extracting from the source at the rate of 75 kilowatts. So 15 equals to 75, but we don't know QA minus QB. Just you put QA and QB as it is. So, or we can write QA plus QB as 75 minus 15. So, is 60. So QB is nothing but 60 minus of QA. So you have to express QB in terms of QA. It's the first step. Okay. First you write the line diagram. Then after that you have to write the net work done. That is Q1 minus QA plus QB. And then after that you have to substitute whatever given value in the problem. That is 15 equals to 75 minus of QA minus QB. So QA plus QB equals to 60 or QB equals to 60 minus QA. You call it as equation number 1. Okay. Now, we know that for a reversible heat engine, okay, already we studied Clausius theorem. Okay, according to the Clausius theorem, cyclic integral of dq by t equals to 0. Okay, what is cyclic integral of dq by t? It's nothing but qs by ts minus of qr divided by tr. Same thing, whatever we studied in the previous problem, same formula you have to apply. Cyclic integral of dq by t is nothing but what? Qs divided by ts plus qr divided by tr, actually, according to the definition. But don't take qs as positive. You have to take qs as negative because heat rejection is taken as negative. Okay, cyclic integral of dq by t is nothing but the summation of the heat supplied and the heat rejected. Okay, the integration of dq by t is nothing but what? Entropy only. So according to our formula, dq by t is nothing but what? It is entropy only. Okay, so you have to write qs divided by ts. Qs is nothing but what? 75 kilojoules per second divided by ts. That is T1 is given 750 Kelvin in the problem. Okay, you see 750 Kelvin in the problem. That is nothing but the temperature of the source minus of, we are having two sinks, that is QA divided by 650. So whatever the temperature for the sink B is, it is sink A is 650 Kelvin and another sink is there, it is at 580 Kelvin. Okay, then actually you have to write QB divided by 580, but QB we are going to express in QA because it is very difficult to find out two unknown things at a time. For that purpose, you are going to express the one thing in the other, so that after substituting, we get the value of one heat transfer. Okay, for that purpose, you remember you have to express the heat transfer to the one sink. We have to express in terms of the other. So 75 divided by 750, that is QS divided by TS minus of QA divided by 650 as it is, and QB is nothing but 60 minus of QA divided by 580, and it is always equals to 0 because the heat engine operates in a reversible cycle. So 75 divided by 750, then you have to simplify. Okay, minus of QA divided by 650. Okay, once again you have to simplify, minus 60. So minus 60 divided by 580 minus of QA divided by 580. Okay. So just after, then you have to simplify once again. Just you have to elaborate this. So 75 divided by 750 minus QA divided by 650 minus 60 divided by 580, and minus becomes plus QA divided by 580. Then so after solving this equation, we are getting as, that is, you have to simplify. That is 1 divided by 6. That is 1 divided by 580 minus 1 divided by 650. It's just you have to do the simplification using the calculator. So after solving this equation, we are getting QA as 18.27 kilojoules per second. So you have to solve this equation, and then you have to write, you have to solve. So we are getting the heat supplied to the sink A is 18.27 kilowatts. Now, sometimes they used to ask, express in terms of kilojoules per minute. Whatever answer we are getting, it is in kilojoules per second. So in order to express kilojoules per minute, you have to multiply this answer with the 60. Okay. So you get the answer as 1096.2 kilojoules per minute. Then we got QA. Then how to find out QB? So already we know that QB equals to 60 minus QA. Just you substitute the value of QA as 18.27 in the above equation. So you get QB as 60 minus of 18.27. So it is 41.73. So in order to express in terms of kilojoules per minute, you have to multiply by 60. 41.73 into 60 is 2508.8 kilojoules per minute. Okay, sometimes they used to ask, express QA and QB in kilojoules per minute. In that case, just you have to express like this. Otherwise, you have to express in terms of kilowatt. This is how to solve Clausius inequality. Now, okay, I'm going to solve another most important problem. So this question asked in video exam. Okay, you see, a reversible engine shown below during a cycle of operation draws 5 megajoule from the 400K reservoir. Okay, so you see, first you have to analyze the problem. Okay, here in this problem directly they are given the diagram. Okay, sometimes they won't give the diagram in second problem. Okay, whatever we solve, they are not given the diagram. First you have to draw the diagram. Okay, once the diagram you write, it is very easy to solve the problem. Okay, so in the third problem, you see a reversible engine shown below during a cycle of operation draws 5 megajoule. Okay, you see there are 3 reservoirs here, Q1, Q2 and Q3, and heat engine is operating and between the source and sink. Okay, 5 megajoule from the 400K reservoir and does 840 kilojoule of work. Find the amount and direction of heat interaction with other reservoirs. Okay, so diagram is given in the problem. Okay, so first you have to analyze the diagram. Okay, so here Q1, there are 3 reservoirs are there. Okay, this is the heat engine. It extracts some heat from heat engine 1, some heat from heat engine 2, and remaining quantity of the heat from the heat reservoir 3. Okay, so one is at 200 Kelvin, another one is at 300 Kelvin, and third one is at 400 Kelvin. Okay, next solution you have to write. Okay, let Q1 is the heat interaction from 200 Kelvin reservoir. Q2 is the heat extraction from 300 Kelvin reservoir, and Q1 is the heat interaction from 400 Kelvin reservoir. Okay, you can write Q1, Q2, Q3. Okay, next, net work done. What is the net work done? Uh, so they have given diagram in this like that. It means that, okay, so here one is the source. Okay, Q1, whatever is there, no, this is the source. And you remember the source is at highest temperature. Okay, so whatever the higher temperature range is there, no, always you have to consider it as a source. And remaining two sources are there. You see, 200 Kelvin and 300 Kelvin. To assume it as sink. Okay, so for higher temperature, you assume it as source, and remaining the lower temperature range, you assume it as a sink. And they have given the diagram in different way. Okay, so that's why don't make confusion. So it is similar to our heat engine problem only, but only you have to analyze it as 400 Kelvin is your source, and 200 Kelvin and 300 Kelvin are sink. Okay, that's it. This is the thing you have to assume. Okay, and we know that next step. Net work done. Net work done according to our formula, net work done is heat supplied minus of heat rejected. Heat supplied is nothing but from higher temperature source Q1 minus of Q2 plus Q3, because the heat rejection is Q2 and Q3. That's why you have to take minus. In this problem, these are the two sinks and one is the source. Okay, and they are given in the problem that a 400 kilo reservoir is nothing but source does 840 kilojoule of work. Okay, so they are given 840 kilojoule of work and net work done, and Q1 is given. Okay, Q1 is what? 5 megajoule. Okay, so in this case, you have to maintain the uniformity in the units. In order to write the units, you should be very careful. Don't write in megajoule. So you have to write in kilojoules. Okay, better all of you have to express in the same units. Okay, because one is in kilojoule and another one is in megajoule. Okay, so better all the units you have to express in kilojoules. Okay, so 840 kilojoule as it is, and Q1 is 5 megajoule. 5 megajoule is nothing but 5 into 10 to the power of 3 kilojoule minus of Q2 plus Q3. Okay, we don't know Q2 and Q3. Our aim is to find out Q2 and Q3. Okay, so Q2 plus Q3 is nothing but, so after simplification, we are getting it as 4160 kilojoules. How you did the same way you have to do here also. And here once again two unknown things, Q2 and Q3. Better you have to express one over the other. Okay, here from this one Q2 equals to 4160 minus Q3. Otherwise you can write Q3 equals to, but you have to express one over the other. Okay, either you can express Q2 in Q3 or Q3 in terms of Q2, no problem, but you get the same answer. Okay, but this is the initial step to write down. Be careful about the units. Okay, suppose if you are writing only 5, your problem becomes wrong. I am telling you, you should be very careful in the units in thermodynamics. Okay, even plus, minus, and conversion of unit plays very important role. Okay, most of you are losing the marks only. Even though your step is correct, they won't give the marks. Okay, we are going to check the final answer. Okay, that's why. So each question carried 10 mark. Okay, suppose you're not writing the units properly, there will be chances of losing the mark. Hence, be careful and try to get the correct answer. Okay, even though you are knowing the procedure, everything you are knowing, but you are not putting the units properly. In that case, there will be reduction of the marks. Hence, be careful. Not only in this one, throughout the thermodynamics. Okay. So Q2 equals to 4160 minus of Q3. You call it as equation number 1. Okay, then after that you have to apply the Clausius theorem. Okay, so we studied Clausius theorem and Clausius inequality. According to the Clausius theorem, cyclic integral of dq by t equals to 0 for reversible engine. Okay, you see, first one is Qs minus of Qr divided by Ts. Okay, Qs is what? So 5 megajoule. First you write the QS. 5 into 10 to the power of 3. Don't write only 5 because you have to convert uh, 5 megajoule into kilojoule. Divided by TS. TS is what? Temperature of the source. 400. And minus of your QR. QR is there. We are having two things. One is Q2 divided by 4. So all of you understood this problem, whatever I explained? Any doubts? Any one of you tell you understood the problem?
No doubt, sir. I understood.
Okay, good. Okay. So like that, you have to solve like such kind of problem only they'll ask in the exam. Okay. Now I'll do another problem. Okay. So another problem, how to find out the entropy change. Okay. So this class is most important because I'm doing the numerical problems. Okay. All of you have to go refer some standard textbook. Okay. Try to solve the different problems. Okay. Then only you'll come to know. Okay. So you have to solve yourself. You see, whatever problem is there now, this question asked in 2001 VTU exam for 10 marks. Okay. So you see, a reversible heat engine operates between three heat reservoirs, 1000 Kelvin, 800 Kelvin, and 600 Kelvin, and rejects the heat to the reservoir at 300 Kelvin. In the first problem, we studied one source and two sinks, and in this problem, we are having three source and one sink. Okay, that's why you have to draw the diagram. A reversible heat engine operates between three heat reservoirs which are at 1000 Kelvin, 800 Kelvin, and 600 Kelvin, and rejects the heat at 300 Kelvin. The engine develops 10 kilowatt power. Okay, engine develops 10 kilowatt power is nothing but the network, and rejects 412 kilojoules per minute. Okay, remember in this problem you have given kilojoules per minute. You have to convert in kilojoules per second. What you are going to do? Just you are going to divide this value by 60. If the heat supplied by the reservoir at 1000 Kelvin is 60 percentage of the heat supplied by the reservoir. Okay, they are not given the things, but they are given some relation that so whatever the heat supplied by reservoir, that is that first source is of 60 percentage of heat supplied by the reservoir at 600 Kelvin. Okay, so find the quantity of heat supplied by each reservoir. Okay. So after reading the problem, you have to draw the line diagram for the heat engine. Okay, the first one is 1000 Kelvin, you write it as Q1, and 800 Kelvin, you write it as Q2, and 600 Kelvin, you write it as Q3. All are source only, remember. Okay, and the heat engine having three source and one sink, and Q2 is that is a Q4. You call it as Q4. Okay, because already we are having Q1, Q2, Q3. You write the heat rejection as Q4, and you remember 412 unit is most important. Suppose you are taking 412, it is wrong. Okay, so you have to take kilojoules per second to maintain the uniformity in the units. 412 divided by 60 is nothing but 6.866 kilowatts. Okay, so you have to write Q4 as 6.866 kilowatt. Find the quantity of heat supplied by each reservoir. In this case, W is given, Q4 is given. Our aim is to find out Q1, Q2, and Q3, and one more data is given. Q1 is 1.6 times that of Q3. Okay, 0.6 times that of Q3. And okay, Q4, as I said, we have to express in kilojoules per second. 412 divided by 60, it is 6.866 kilojoules per second. And one more value is 60% is nothing but Q1 is 0.6 times that of Q3. Okay, so you will see the heat supplied by reservoir at 1000 Kelvin is 60 percentage of the heat supplied by the reservoir at 600 Kelvin. Means Q1 is 0.6 times that of Q3. Okay. Now you have to make the energy balance.
The
Okay.
screen is not visible.
Not visible. Huh? Okay. Just a minute. Just a minute. Okay. Now is it visible? Oh, changed.
Yes, sir. Now it is visible.
Okay. I'll explain from the beginning. Okay. I think we are not this one seems problem. So I'll explain from the beginning. Can you see the diagram and heading? Yes, this one.
Yes, sir.
Now, see, first I'll dictate the problem. Okay. A reversible heat engine operates between three heat reservoirs. Okay. So we are having the heat, three heat sources and one sink. It may be any number of the source and any number of the sink, as I said. Okay. A reversible heat engine operates between three heat reservoirs at 1000 Kelvin, 800 Kelvin, and 600 Kelvin, and rejects the heat to a reservoir at 300 Kelvin. Okay. And the engine develops 10 kilowatt power. Okay, means 10 kilowatt is nothing but 10 kilojoules per second, and rejects the heat of 412 kilojoules per minute. 412 kilojoules per minute, you have to convert in kilojoules per second. 412 divided by 60. Okay, it is nothing but 6.866 kilowatts. Okay, if the heat supplied by the reservoir at 1000 Kelvin is 60% of the heat supplied by the reservoir at 600 Kelvin, it means that Q1, this first one is Q1, second is Q2, and third one is Q3, and Q4 indicates the heat rejection. What they are given in the problem is that heat supplied by the reservoir at 1000 Kelvin is 60% of the heat supplied by the reservoir at 600 Kelvin. It means that Q1 is 0.6 times that of Q3. In this problem, they are given W. They are given Q4, that is heat rejection. Okay, temperature they are given, no problem. And our aim is to find out Q1, Q2, and Q3. That is our aim is to find out. Okay. The first step we have to write the heat rejected is 412 kilojoules per minute is nothing but 412 divided by 60. You get 6.866 kilowatt or kilojoules per second. And another data is given. Q1 is 0.6 times that of Q3. Okay. Now you have to make the energy balance. What is the energy balance? According to the first law of thermodynamics, so whatever the amount of the heat supplied equals to the amount of the work done according to the first law of thermodynamics. Same thing we are going to write here. Okay, here whatever plus is there, that's Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 minus Q4 you can write here. Okay, Q1 is source, Q2 is also source, Q3 is also source. All of the things you have to take plus and minus of Q4 equals to W. Okay, according to the first law of thermodynamics. Okay, you studied Joule's experiment. So whenever cycle in a cyclic process, the net amount of the work transfer equals to the net amount of the work transfer. Same principle we are going to apply. Okay, that is Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 minus of Q4. Whenever you are taking towards RHS side, we are going to write it as plus. Okay, first you have to write minus here. Then after that, you can shift from LHS to RHS. Q4 plus W. And then you have to substitute all the values. Okay, Q1 is nothing but 0.6 times that of Q3, and plus Q2 as it is you put, Q3 you put as it is, and Q4 is given in the problem 412 kilojoules per minute. You convert in kilojoules per second, that is 6.86 kilowatt, and net work done is given in the problem as 10 kilowatts. Okay, so just you have to substitute. Okay, whatever the first equation, it gives your the first law of thermodynamics. Okay, remember in entropy, once you understand first law of thermodynamics and second law of thermodynamics, then only you can understand the entropy, because these are the two basic things to understand the entropy chapter. So 0.6 times that of Q3 plus Q2, we don't know. Q3 also we don't know. You put as it is, and Q2 plus Q3, Q2 plus 1.6, because it is 0.6 and it is 1. So you'll get Q2 plus 1.6 times that of Q3 equals to 10 plus 6.866. You'll get 16.866. Okay. Next, you have to write the entropy balance. Entropy balance is nothing but, so whatever the amount of is nothing but your cyclic integral of dq by t equals to 0 only. Same thing we are writing. Okay. So first you have to apply entropy balance is nothing but your Clausius theorem only. That is cyclic integral of dq by t is 0. Okay, 1, 2, 3 are source, and 4 is the sink. Okay, so first before writing that you have to write Clausius theorem, cyclic integral of dq by t equals 0, then only you can write this equation. Q1 by T1 plus Q2 by T2 plus Q3 by T3 minus of Q4 by T4 equals to 0. Okay, so directly they are not given the equation. Better you have to write two more equation. One is cyclic integral of dq by t equals to 0, and another second equation is q1 by t1 plus q2 by t2 plus q3 by t3 minus of q4 by t4. Why minus? Q4 is the heat rejection to the sink equals to 0, and you have to transfer that q4 by t4 from LHS to RHS. Okay, so then you can reduce the equation as q1 divided by t1 plus q2 divided by t2 plus q3 divided by t3 equals to q4 divided by t4. Now q1 is what? 0.6 times that of q3 given in the problem. T1 is 1000, q2 unknown thing 800. Sorry, q2 is unknown, and then q3 you put as it is. And after solving this equation, we can write 2. So you have to solve this equation. You'll get 2.26 into 10 to the power of minus 3 q3 plus q2 equals to this much value. You will get it. Now in this case, we are having the two unknown things. Okay, q2 and q3. So in the previous problem, we expressed one over the other. In this case, we are having the two unknown things, and we are having two equations. See, equation number 2 is you call it as equation number 1. Q2 plus 1.6 q3 equals to 16.866, and another equation is this one. You have to solve these two equations. Okay, so you have to solve these two equations. You'll get one thing, either q2 or q3. Okay, so after solving equation number 1 and equation number 2, you'll get q3 as 6.75 kilowatts. Okay, so you should be very careful in solving the equation. So you take this equation as 1, you take this equation as 2. So solve properly, because all are unequal quantities. Better you have to make one equal quantity and you have to reject one term, and then you have to solve. Okay, after solving this equation, you are getting q3 as 6.75 kilowatt. And then how about q2? Q2 is nothing but you have to substitute the value of q3 as 6.75 kilowatt in equation number 1. Okay, either 1 or 2, which one is easier, you can substitute there. So in this problem, I feel equation number 1 is easy. So better you substitute the value of q3 in equation number 1. Okay, so q2 plus 1.6 into 6.75 equals to 16.866. After solving this one, we are getting q2 as 6.066 kilowatt. Okay, we got q2 and q3, but unknown thing is q1. What is q1? Q1 is 0.6 times that of q3. Okay, just you substitute the value of q3 here. Okay, 0.6 times into 6.75 kilowatts. Get 4.05 kilowatts. So these are the three quantities. So these are the three heat sources. You remember, all the values are in positive. Positive indicates the heat supplied to the heat engine, and negative sometimes you may get negative. Negative indicates the sink temp heat is rejected to the sink. Okay, so in this problem we are getting all the values as positive. So such kind of problem you have to practice. Okay, 3 source 1 sink, 1 source 2 sink, like that you try to solve the problem. You take one standard problem, so try to solve that problem. It may be wrong or right, don't worry. Okay, just you try to. So first time you may get wrong answer, but in the second time definitely you'll get the correct answer. Okay, practice is most important in thermodynamics, especially comes to the numericals. Okay, so derivation will get full mark. Okay, out of 4. Suppose if it is 10, you can get to 10 out of 10 marks, but you'll not get full marks in numericals. That's why I'm telling you, every class I used to tell you have to concentrate more on numericals. Okay, so once you get the problem, so you'll get the full mark. Okay, suppose nearest answer, okay, no problem, but there should be it should not be much deviation. Okay, suppose you're getting 6.7, no problem, we'll consider and you get the full mark. That's why be careful in the units, formula, everything. Okay, okay, now I will do one problem on Carnot cycle. That is the second law of thermodynamics. Okay, you see the problem. A heat engine in a cycle delivering work equals to 22 newtons. You see the first problem, simple problem. and absorbs the heat of 95 kilojoule. Determine the efficiency of the heat engine and heat transfer from the working fluid. Okay, so you have to draw simple diagram heat engine. One is a source and one is sink, and W equals to 22 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton meter. And you remember 1 Newton meter equals to 1 joule. Okay, and Q1 is given 95 kilojoules. Okay, better you write in joules or kilojoules. Here 10 to the power of 3 is there. You can write instead of kilojoules, you can write joules. Multiply by 10 to the power of 3. And you remember net work done is given by Q1 minus Q2. That is W equals to what? 22 into 10 to the power of 3. Q1 is given 95 into 10 to the power of 3 and minus Q2. From this one easily you can find out Q2 value 73 kilojoule. And efficiency of any heat engine is given by net work done divided by heat supplied. Net work done is 22 into 10 to the power of 3 divided by heat supplied is 95 into 10 to the power of 3. You are getting efficiency as 23 percentage. Okay, so these are the three formulas you should remember. Net work done is heat supplied minus heat rejected. The efficiency of any heat engine is given by net work done divided by heat supplied. Okay, and COP of heat pump is given by Q1 divided by net work done. That is Q1 divided by Q1 minus Q2. And the COP of refrigerator is Q2 divided by Q1 minus Q2. These are the four formula you should remember. One is Carnot engine is net work done divided by heat supplied. COP of heat pump is Q1 because the heat supplied is most important. Q1 divided by Q1 minus Q2. And for heat, refrigeration, you have to remember Q2 divided by Q1 minus Q2. I'll do one more problem on this one heat engine. Try to understand this one. Once again, this problem is most important. It asked in VTO exam. Okay. A reversible heat engine operates between two environments. In the first case, it draws 12,000 kilowatt from a source at 400 degrees Celsius, and in the second case, it draws 25,000 kilowatt from a source at 100 degrees Celsius. Okay. In both the operation, the engine rejects the heat to thermal reservoir at its sink 20 degrees Celsius. Determine the operation in which the engine draws more power. Okay, we are having the two engine. We are going to compare which engine gives the more work output or which engine gives the more power. So whenever there will be more power, obviously there will be more efficiency of the engine. Okay, and heat rejection is common in both the cases. That is 20 degrees Celsius. You see, for that purpose, you have to draw two heat engine diagram. So T2, that is heat rejected to the sink, is common. 20 plus 273.14 Kelvin. Better you take 273 only, no problem. So you get 293 Kelvin in both the cases. And source temperature differs. In first case, it is 400 degrees Celsius, means 400 plus 273. You'll get 673 Kelvin. And in the second case, you'll get 100 plus 273. So it is better you take round number only, no problem. So first case 673 and 293. Second case 373 divided by 23. Can you tell which engine gives the more power based upon this one? Can you anyone analyze? Okay. Which engine produces the more power and more efficiency? Just you check the range of temperature. Anyone? Which engine gives more work or more power?
First one, sir.
How? How?
Because the temperature difference is pretty high, so
Exactly right. Okay, correct. Okay, so whenever as I said, okay, so what is your this one, if thermal efficiency formula, the heat supplied divided by heat rejected, so that will get the maximum efficiency when the heat supplied is more and heat rejection should be less. Okay, as the heat supplied is more, there will be more output and then there will be more efficiency. Okay, so we have to prove with the solution. Okay, see, anyhow, directly by seeing the temperature you can tell, but so don't tell like that. You have to solve the problem. So you have to prove that one, how you get the more efficiency. Okay. So in the thermal efficiency, eta thermal is given by T1 minus T2 divided by T1 or Q1 minus Q2 divided by T1. Okay. You can express in both either Q or T. Okay. It is T1 minus T2 divided by T1 or 1 minus T2 divided by T1. So 1 minus 293 divided by 673. You get minus 0.5646. Okay, 56.46% of efficiency. And we know that eta is work done divided by heat supplied. Using that formula, you can find out the work done. Work done is eta. Eta is 0.5646 into QH is 12,000 kilowatts in the first case. So you'll get 6775.2 kilowatts in the first case. Like that, just you write the same formula for second heat engine. Okay, for thermal efficiency for the second formula, eta thermal equals to 1 minus T2 divided by T1. That is 1 minus 293 divided by 373. You get 21% efficiency. You see, compare almost 2.5 times is increased in case of first engine because the source temperature is high. So second heat engine, we are getting it as 0.2144. Okay, and then work done is your eta into heat supplied. Eta is 0.2144 into 25,000. So you'll get 5360 kilowatt. Okay, in the first case we're getting 6,700, and the second case we're getting 5360, like that. So you have to draw two diagrams. Okay, and we have to explain which case will get more power. So like that, you have to go through the number of problems are there. So you refer any textbook, okay, good textbook. Either you can refer this Rajput. Rajput is very good book, okay. Engineering Thermodynamics by R.K. Rajput, or you can refer any book, basic thermodynamics book. Okay, try to solve. You'll get number of numerical problems on second law of thermodynamics and first law of thermodynamics and entropy. So all of you have to solve the problems. Okay, problems are most important.
Okay. Sir, can you send the names of the books in the group or the classroom, sir?
Okay. I'll send. Okay, I'll send. Yeah. Okay. So just you remember the author name. One is R.K. Rajput. Okay, it's a standard textbook. Okay, R.K. Rajput, and another one is P.K. Meantime, I'll send the list. Okay. So any doubts in this problem? Yeah.
And sir, for competitive exams?
What there?
For competitive exams, this subject is pretty important, right? So
yeah, it's very important. That's why I'm telling. No, first law of thermodynamics, second law of thermodynamics, entropy most important, especially in the GATE exam. Okay, they'll ask. That's why you have to understand the.
Can you recommend certain textbooks in the group or something?
Yeah, I'll post in the group there. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Otherwise, I'll mention all the authors' name in the Google. You are referring Google Classroom, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll put all the textbook names in the Google Classroom. I'll post.
Okay.
Okay. So you understood the problem? Any doubt? Yes. Okay. Now, last one. Just I'll do one simple problem. Okay. Entropy only. Okay. Sometimes how they are going to ask. See this problem. Okay, 1 kilojoule of air is heated. Very simple problem. I can finish in 2 lines. 1 kg of air is heated reversibly from an initial state of 1 atmosphere and 10 degrees Celsius to 1 atmosphere at 65 degrees Celsius. Okay, determine the change in entropy. Okay, just simple. ds is dq by t. dq by t is nothing but dt by t because q is proportional to dt. Okay, so integration of ds is nothing but integration of dt by t. Just you integrate. Integration of 1 by t is nothing but ln t2 by t1. Just you substitute the value. That's why you understand the concept here. ds is dq by t, dq is nothing but dt by t, okay, because they are given two temperature range. Once they are given the two temperature range, in that case don't take dq by t, rather than you have to take dt by t, because q is proportional to temperature, okay, ln T2 by T1. And one more thing, don't put in Celsius, you have to put in terms of Kelvin. You remember all the problems, you have to put in the Kelvin. T2 is 65 degrees Celsius, 65 plus 273 divided by T1 is 10 plus 273. So you'll get 0.1775 kilojoules per Kelvin. So this is the answer, okay. So actually, we're having very interesting problem in first law of thermodynamics, second law of thermodynamics, and entropy. So very interesting problems. So before that, you try to understand the concept. Okay, what is the concept? How we are going to take everything is important. So still try to solve different problems. Okay, suppose still you are having any doubts. Okay, you can contact me. We'll try to give the solution for those problems. Okay, try to understand. So if you feel difficulty in solving the problem, so just approach me. Okay, I'll try to clarify. Thanks guys for attending the class. Okay, I'll stop the class now.